Welcome to Talking Climate with Katherine Hayhoe. Each episode, we explore how climate change is affecting the people, places, and things we love, and what we can do to make a difference. From science to solutions and stories that inspire, you're in the right place for real talk about real change. Last week, I shared some ideas for joyful and sustainable gifting. And Talking Climate reader Anna wrote in to share an enduring family tradition that made me smile. Each Christmas, we give our babies a toy from the loft, attic, that had been mine or my husband's when we were young, she wrote. We thought we'd stop when they were old enough to understand, but they loved the idea. Even now as teenagers, they still demand a toy from the loft. I also wanted to share the climate-friendly gift guide crowdsourced by artist Nicole Kellner. Categories include eco-friendly brands and products, online platforms where you can buy pre-loved products, experiences you can do with family and friends, gifts that don't cost money, and kids' presents. There are more than 200 ideas on the list, and you can add any new ones you think of. And I have to say, Nicole's art prints make amazing gifts as well. And don't forget, Talking Climate now includes a weekly subscriber-only video series that brings the science and stories to life. If you know someone who'd enjoy a thoughtful, hopeful take on climate and solutions, a gift subscription on Substack or Patreon makes the perfect holiday present. This week, we're talking about green energy innovations, an emergency briefing that sounds the alarm, and how to help with holiday travel. Let's dive in. Good news. Innovations in clean energy are speeding up each day, and here are just 3 examples. Rebecca Young is a Scottish student who invented a solar blanket to help keep unhoused people on the streets of Glasgow warm overnight. Heated blankets typically require access to power, but Rebecca designed a blanket that can be charged with small solar panels and stored in a backpack. During the day, the heat from the sun can energize the solar panels, and they go into a battery pack that can store the heat, 12-year-old Rebecca told the BBC. When it's cold at night, people can use the energy stored in the battery pack to sleep on. The invention earned Rebecca a commendation medal in a UK-wide contest called the Primary Engineer McRobert Medal competition, and Time magazine named Rebecca one of its Girls of the Year for her efforts. How amazing is that? Nearly every month now, I hear about another church making the switch to renewable energy. Just last month, retired Iowa State Senator Rob Hogg shared that Good Shepherd Lutheran Church in Decorah is now powered and heated by geothermal energy, rooftop solar, and 3 5-ton heat pumps, plus a solar pergola over the patio. They're now 100% carbon-free. And last week, NBC climate reporter Chase Kane told me he happened to visit Incarnation Lutheran in North Oaks, Minnesota, on the very day they unveiled their new solar array. The organizer told him that my book, Saving Us, helped inspire their decision to make the switch. Even more incredible. Of course, having solar or heat pumps isn't enough on its own. We also need to use our energy efficiently and avoid wasting it. That's exactly what SoulShare discovered in Bangladesh. The country had installed 2.8 million home solar systems by 2014, yet much of that electricity was going unused. SoulShare's smart peer-to-peer microgrids changed that by allowing households to trade electricity based on their needs. We created a platform that connects and harnesses these lost resources, linking thousands of homes and micro-businesses into solar P2P microgrids, explained SoulShare CEO Sebastian Groh. So smart. Not so good news. 2 weeks ago, the UK received its first ever national emergency briefing on the climate and nature crisis. This event was not organized by the government, but rather by 9 experts in climate science, risks, and solutions who wanted to warn members of Parliament and the House of Lords about the risks now unfolding. Representatives from business, culture, faith, sports, and the media were also in attendance to hear about the real-world ways climate change is already affecting our lives. Speakers like Haley Fowler, an expert in climate extremes, Paul Behrens, who studies food systems, and Hugh Montgomery, an internal medicine specialist, clearly laid out the serious risks climate change poses to the UK's economy, food, public health, and national security. In her testimony, biodiversity expert Nathalie Seddon emphasized how nature should be considered critical infrastructure. Without a living, healthy biosphere, there is no stable economy, no food or water security, and no public health resilience, she said. Others, like Tim Lenton, whose newest book on how positive societal tipping points can catalyze change is currently in my reading pile, emphasized both the risks of inaction, but also the hopeful tipping points already within reach. What you can do. If you're traveling for the holidays this year, especially by air, you're not alone in wondering how to balance the importance of seeing loved ones with the concern that flying carries a high carbon footprint. The goal isn't to feel guilty about travel that matters, but to be thoughtful about what we can do. Do you have to travel, or can you take a staycation? If not, are you able to take the bus or train or drive? If you have to fly, which I do, can you take a direct flight to cut down on the outsized share of emissions that happen during takeoff and landing? If you're able, consider offsetting the emissions from your trip. I use Climate Stewards for my own travel, where contributions go to community projects ranging from clean stoves to forest restoration. Talking Climate reader Rob Kahn recently shared another option. Climate Action Now's holiday Trees for Travel program. It lets you calculate the emissions from your travel and support tree planting projects that store carbon, restore ecosystems, and provide income for local farmers in Kenya. Offsets aren't a long-term solution, of course. Ultimately, we have to reduce emissions at the source. That's why innovations such as smart flight tracks that cut contrail formation, yes, those white tracks you see in the sky are responsible for nearly half the climate impact of flying, electric planes, sustainable aviation fuel, and alternate travel options from high-speed rail to airships are so important. For now, though, offsets are a stopgap, a way to acknowledge the impact of necessary travel while contributing to positive, community-centered climate action. Making and talking about thoughtful choices, rather than trying to achieve individual perfection, are what move us toward a better future. That applies not only to our travel, but to every choice we make in life. Thanks for listening to Talking Climate, narrated by Ann Cloud. For more resources, links, and actions you can take, check out the full newsletter at www.talkingclimate.ca. Remember, Talking Climate starts with you.